Now I'll assume that you installed those applications, actually download them. So you download the VMware player, not the VMware workstation. You download the Linux, those three different flavor of Linux, ISO image, and you may find in Backtrack like they have KDE or GNOME. It doesn't matter. You can download any one of them because they are the same, just a little bit different interface. And you did download some operating system, Windows operating system from Microsoft website. Next step will be configuring the lab. So we're going to start by installing the VMware player. So VMware player, it's a straightforward installation. You go, you right click on it, and you click on yes, and you don't change anything. Just next, next, next until you finish. So you don't need to change anything. You just keep the default setting. But because I already have it installed, it will not resume on my machine because the VMware is already installed. So first thing to do is to install the VMware player. Now once the VMware player it's installed, it will show on your machine in this way. So you're going to see the VMware after installing. This is the icon of VMware player. By the way, there is a lot of product and a lot of them are free. So you have the VMware player, you have the VirtualBox, it's also free. And they are working on the same way, but I prefer VMware player. Is very light and it's not hard to configure. But on the when you install it for the first time, you will not find those machines on the left pane. So this will be empty. Now let's see how to create a virtual machine. So we open the virtual machine. We open the VMware player and we create a new virtual machine. Now you're going to choose here, I will install the operating system later, because you can give him the CD and he will start installing, but you can choose the last one, I will install this operating system later. Then next. Then he's going to ask you what operating system will be installed in the VMware. Now first one, actually you don't have a specific order, you do it the way you want. So if you choose Windows, you're going to find the list here that has all the Windows operating system, XP and 7 and 8 and so on, or Server 2003 or 8 or 12. If you choose Linux, you're going to see the drop list change, and then you're going to have the other operating system related to Linux. If you choose Novell, if you choose whatever. So let's take Linux for instance. So I'm going to choose Linux, but most probably you will not find the editions that you have here, the Backtrack or Kali Linux or any other track. So you can choose other 2.6 kernel. This, it's like a generic one, it works with anything. And then you click on next. Then on this Windows, you're going to name the Linux machine. This name is optional. This is what will be showing on this left pane. So for instance, I can name it, I have Kali, so I'm going to name it Kali Linux or G-Track or whatever. Then here you can specify the location of the virtual machine, where it will be saved. And I strongly recommend to not save it on the C drive, because you're going to install many virtual machines and after a while there will be a problem with the C drive. So you can put that in C or D or E, or you can have a free space, and you can even put it on a external hard drive. So I'll put it on my E drive because I have some storage. Then next. Here it's going to tell you that it's going to take 8 GB from your hard drive to use it as an Kali Linux internal hard drive. So for Linux, it's usually better to use 12 GB, better than 8. And then you click on next. This does not mean that it will take 12 GB from your hard drive and save it for the Linux machine, but it will maintain up to 12. So you can save on this Linux machine up to 12 GB. And click on next. And this is the summary of what you just choose. And then you click on finish. Once you click on finish, you're going to find this Kali Linux machine here. So you can run the machine, right click on it and power on, or choose from here play the virtual machine, except we don't have anything inside the virtual machine. It's like you bought a computer without an operating system. So the next step will be going, because if you try to turn it on, you're going to notice that you don't have an operating system, so nothing will be there. So I can shut it down because I don't have any operating system, and getting back to my VMware, and then we're going to start configuring the virtual machine. So I created that, except it's empty. So I'm going to right click on it, then we're going to go to setting. In setting, I need to do two things. Number one, the memory. I need to add a little bit more memory. I mean, by default, it's taking a very small amount from your hard drive. From your physical memory of your computer to use it for the virtual machine memory. And this is actually will slow down the virtual machine. So if you have enough memory, and I would recommend for such course to have a machine that has at least 8 GB of RAM. This will make you do all the labs. So if you have 8 GB, you can put, or you can choose here to have up to, for instance, 2 GB. Okay, if you have less, you can make it 1 GB, still gonna work fine, but I prefer to have 2 GB on this machine. This is the first setting that you need to change. The next setting, let's click on OK first, apply. Next setting will be, and this is extremely important, will be, so we'll click on OK. And we are going back, right click and setting. The next setting that you need to do is the CD-ROM. Now I want you to go to the CD-ROM, and then you gonna find that the default option is use physical drive. Now you're gonna change that to use ISO drive, ISO image, and we click on browse, and you're gonna point to the ISO image of the Kali Linux that you downloaded. So for me, I believe it was on the E drive. I downloaded VM and ISO. No, maybe on the D drive. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So I saved them here under VM and ISO inside ISO image, and then you can choose Kali Linux, and for me, I downloaded the 386, which is the 32, and we click on OK. And that's it. Now you are ready to run this machine. So you can right click on it and click on power on, and you're going to notice that it's going to start the Linux operating system. On the next section, I'm going to show you how to start the Linux, how to start using the command, how and so on. But my objective is right now, it's to show you how to set up your lab. Using Linux, you don't have to worry about, even if you don't have an experience. Now, the next step will be how to set up Windows. Linux, you're going to do the same for the remaining image. So for backtrack, for GNAC track, you need to do the same. Now for Windows, is exactly the same, except there is a lot of small difference here. So I'm going to delete this image, right click on, because I don't have that much of storage. So to let you, or to explain to you the step, I'm going to delete this Kali Linux, and I'm going to create another virtual machine for Windows. And I'm going to choose the same option here, which is Windows. I will install later, next, but my option here will be Windows, Microsoft Windows, and I'm going to choose Windows 7, next, and I'm going to name that Windows 7 2 because I already have Windows. I'm going to keep the default name, and I'll save it on the E drive, and next, continue, then we can keep this default amount of storage, next, and then next, and as you can see, the image has been created, except same concept. I don't have anything here. So if you power on, you will not find anything. So we're going to do the same. I'm going to right click and setting. You can keep the memory 1 GB, or you can add it, because whenever you add memory, it will enhance the performance, except it should be related to the physical amount that you have. So if you have 8 GB or 16 GB, it's good to give to each machine 2 GB. But if you have only 4, you can give to each machine 1 GB, because it will take from your physical machine. And so I'm going to keep it 1 GB. 1 GB will be fine. And then we're going to go to the CD-ROM again. And I'm going to, instead of using the physical drive, I'm going to use the ISO image. and we are going to browse, and then we are going to choose the ISO image that I downloaded. I keep forgetting if it was on C or D. Where is it? Most probably on here. I have a folder by the name of source. Here you go. And for instance, let me Windows 7. Okay, and I click on open, and I click on OK. Now by doing that, it's like you are putting a Windows CD inside your computer. So when you right click and you click on power on, you're gonna notice that it's gonna start with the Windows installation. So it's like you are installing Windows on your machine. So you don't need to do anything. Just click on next, 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 and even when you get to the serial number, because this is an evaluation copy, click on next. So Microsoft will understand that you're going to need to use that as an evaluation, so it will resume, and you're going to have 6 months to use this Microsoft Windows product. So this is how to set up your lab. Once the lab is set up, then you can run more than one machine together the same way they are. Like in my case, I created a hacker machine, so I can run the hacker, and I can post it here, and or I can move it here, and then I can run the victim or the Linux machines, the Kali Linux, and then I can add it here, and so on. So it's like having 2, 3, 4, 5 machines, and you start working with them. You can make one a hacker, one a victim, one a server, and try to hack from one to another and tune the security, so you can arrange or you can manage that the way you want. If any of those steps are not clear, feel free to post any question, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and I can even post another video if this was not clear enough. Thank you so much, and see you next video.